Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full article here. There's a link in the description. It is fairly short and it is tragic. It's in regards to the scumbag that you see in front of you. Her name is Lisa Geurino. She's a drunk driver and allegedly, hang on, let me backtrack. She's allegedly a drunk driver and allegedly she was involved in a car crash which allegedly was her fault in Las Vegas around 4 a.m. Wednesday. In essence, she's accused of having driven her Jeep Grand Cherokee through a stop sign. So, a Jeep Grand Cherokee is a fairly large SUV. She drove through a stop sign in Las Vegas and she smashed into another vehicle, a Volkswagen SUV. That Volkswagen SUV was driven by a gentleman named Stephen Palmatier Jr. Hopefully, I've pronounced his name correctly. He was with his wife, I believe. Let me check that in a second. Also, a 3-year-old boy, his 3-year-old son, Wyatt, and a 6-year-old girl. Let me check the details here. The 6-year-old girl is called Riley, and Wyatt is the 3-year-old boy, and his wife Kristen was also in the vehicle. Tragically, 2 people died, and that includes Stephen Palmatier Jr., the father, 37 years of age, and also the 3-year-old son, Wyatt. So 2 people have died. So let me just iterate that I do have a link in the description for a GoFundMe for the Palmatier family. It lets us know that on June the 1st, Steve, along with his wife Kristen and 2 children, Riley and Wyatt, left their house around 4 a.m. to drive to the airport to come to Illinois to visit family. They didn't even make it 5 minutes before being catastrophically struck by an alleged drunk driver who sped through a stop sign, crashed into them, and then ran away. So as far as I understand, the alleged drunk driver, Lisa Geurino, walked home. She fled the scene. Oh, hang on. No, I've got that wrong. She drove home. She fled the scene. She drove home and then passed out. Steve, the father, was declared deceased at the scene. Kristen, Riley, and Wyatt were taken to the hospital for injuries. Kristen was released first with minor injuries. Riley was kept under observation overnight. Wyatt is still in critical condition. That's what the GoFundMe says, and that was created 2 days ago. This article was published around the same time, I think, and this article tells us that Steve, the father, and Wyatt, the young boy, has died. So apologies if I have this wrong. I hope and I pray that young Wyatt is still alive. But my understanding is that he has since passed since the writing of this GoFundMe. Tragically so, and they've still got a way to go to hit their goal, and their goal on their GoFundMe is going to help get the family through this difficult time. So the wife and Riley, the 6-year-old, who have both been released from hospital, I believe, it's going to help them get through this very tough time for them, and we hope we pray for those for the wife and for young Riley, the 6-year-old. Such a tragedy, which has just unfairly, hugely impacted their life. I'm not going to say destroyed their lives. They will overcome this. They have to. They've got each other to look after. The mother has Riley to look after, so she will find the strength to get through this. But if anyone is in a position to help, it does seem like a fair cause, and I guess this is young Wyatt. He looks like a real character with his eyes, big blue eyes. And there's Steve. So, of course, full condolences to the family. The scumbag alleged drunk driver initially claimed that she had nothing to do with it, nothing to do with her, not her problem, but investigators were able to get closer to the truth. She was arrested and charged with suspicion of driving under the influence, leaving the scene of a crash, and related felonies. Apparently, she's had 5 shots of Patron. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not quite sure what type of drink that is. I'm guessing, I really don't know. It's a spirit of one kind or another. 5 shots of Patron. There's receipts to prove that. She was seen walking from the vehicle. Yeah, so there we go. She's only got a $10,000 bail, which is not enough. Allegedly, she is responsible for the death of a father and their 3-year-old boy. $10,000 bail. Las Vegas, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. That's way too low, especially if you're able to post 10% or 20% of that. That's not enough. That's not enough. That gives the wrong message to her, to other people in society, that they're going to, you know, if they get caught for DUI, they'll just walk away with it, even if they are responsible for the death of others. That's not enough. You need to punish these transgressors. It does tell us to check back for updates, so perhaps we will do that. But at this point in time, it seems to me that that's as much information as we need, really. It's an absolute tragedy. The police will be able to follow their standard protocol to confirm whether or not this woman is guilty of DUI, driving under the influence. If it is the case, I hope she gets everything. I hope she gets the book thrown at her. Her charges, again, charged with suspicion of DUI, leaving the scene of a crash, and related felonies. So I would imagine, I would hope even, that those charges will be upgraded to whatever it happens to be, manslaughter. But I really hope that this woefully low bail amount is not representative of the sentencing that she'll face should she indeed be found guilty. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Again, full condolences to the family. Such a tragedy. If anyone's in a position to donate, that would be extremely nice. I'm going to leave you guys to it. Take care.